I wanted to ask you about, I'm sure you've seen the Guardian piece about Mr. Deputy Secretary General Eliasson's letter about cholera in Haiti. And it's being portrayed as a possible breakthrough or change in position. I wanted to know if in fact it is. As the letter apparently says that the promise of resources could be fine-tuned or expanded as needed. And I wanted to know whether this involves any consideration of paying compensation to the families who had a breadwinner or other family member killed by the cholera.
What is the UN's position on the legal claims has not changed. What has also always been the case is the UN's determination to help the people of Haiti with the cholera outbreak and with the impact of the cholera outbreak. I think the Secretary General, if you look back to the statements that he made when he was in Haiti, expressed clearly the will and his commitment to help the people of Haiti. That also involves donors stepping up and funding the necessary projects that are needed to deal with the outbreak. The UN on the ground has already worked clearly in that to that effect, providing assistance to national sanitation campaigns, ensuring that certain villages are free of open defecation, and also bring whatever support they can.
But I guess the sort of the piece is saying that this represents a change in position. Are you saying that it's not? There's no
Well,
change in
I think
position?
I'm telling you what our position. Obviously, journalists are free to interpret it one way or another.
What was the impact of the 5 special rapporteurs writing to the Secretary General and saying that the UN's reputation is being injured by not
I
paying
think
compensation?
we clearly hear what the special rapporteurs are. The respect for human rights remains at the center of what we do and how we try to act every day.
And just one related question, because it's directly, maybe you'll have it or you can get it. What's happening with the Kosovo? It was said that it was recommended that the mission pay for lead-poisoned
I have
children.
no update on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Lee.
Sorry for the sound. I was trying to queue up a quote, 2 quotes I want to ask you about. One is the Yahya Jammeh of Gambia. He has been quoted as saying, the Secretary General, or he may have said Ban Ki-moon, that's what I was trying to determine, can go to hell. And this has to do with calls to investigate the death of activist Solo Sandang. So I wanted to know 2 things. I mean, one's a kind of a setup for you, a softball. What's the response of the Secretary General to this statement by the leader of Gambia? But 2, what has the UN actually been doing to try to bring about an investigation of the death of Mr. Sandang and other activists?
We've seen
in
the
Gambia?
quotes. The UN's position is unchanged, and I'll get an update from our colleagues in the region as the contacts they've had.
Okay, and the other quote is from the UNEP meeting in Nairobi. There's been quite a bit of controversy when an Egyptian minister, Mohammed Sheshem Shoair, was caught saying in Arabic, calling the sub-Saharan African members of the group dogs and slaves. This was the quote. And so it's caused a lot of division in the African group. Some people are saying Egypt shouldn't represent Africa at such meetings anymore. Since it took place in a UN venue, does the Secretary General have any either insight or statement on this rift in the group?
No. Obviously, whatever rift there may exist in the Africa group needs to be dealt with within the group. It's a member state issue. We would obviously hope that there is a minimum of decorum in any debate in an intergovernmental body.
Sure. I wanted to ask, this sort of follows up on the Secretary General's trip. There was a report issued today by the Working Group on Business and Human Rights about South Korea, and it goes through a number of no country is perfect, but it definitely identifies what it sees as problems. And I'm just wanting to know, first, because just before he left, he gave a speech at the Korea Society praising or congratulating POSCO. They're named in this report as involved in Myanmar and land acquisition disputes that left people without compensation. So I know that part of this talk was off the record and at the thing you attended with the Kwan Hoon Club. Did this issue of the need for South Korea as its economy grows to incorporate human rights principles, was this discussed anytime during his trip?
I think the Secretary General would support the inclusion of human rights in any business practices.
And the other one is just relatedly, to knock this out of the way. This is maybe an easy one for you. There's a lot of coverage in the South Korean press today saying that the linking the desire of the Secretary General to visit North Korea to saying that this would put him over the top or make it or be extremely positively viewed by the South Korean electorate. And therefore, I guess I just want to ask you to say whatever he attempts to do in the next 7 months has nothing to do with a potential run for president.
Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is focused on being Secretary General of the UN, fulfilling his mandate to the last day in office.